Assalamu alaikum everyone. Welcome to Stars of Nust. I'm your host Sana Zafar. हम आपको मिलवाते हैं नस्ट के ग्रेजुएट से फ्रॉम ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड. आज भी हमें एक ब्रिलियंट ग्रेजुएट ने ज्वाइन किया है फ्रॉम बर्लिन, and I feel very proud to share that this brilliant gentleman has been my student for a short while back at Nust. हमारे साथ हैं Mr. Salman Mazhar. Assalamu alaikum Salman. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome, Sana. Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
Salman ने Nust से graduate किया back in 2012 when he completed his bachelor's in IT from SEECS. Currently, he is Senior Frontend Engineer at Contorion. आइए इनसे मिलते हैं. Thank you, Salman, आपके टाइम निकालने का and thank you for your patience as well. आपके साथ मुझे दोबारा coordinate करना पड़ा, postpone करना पड़ा because I wasn't well. I lost my voice. I'm still not there fully, but गुजारा करते हैं इस तरह से.
Thank you for having me. I hope you're feeling better.
Yes, a little bit. still some way to go. Salman, I was very interested to have you over for the interview. एक तो of course for more than one reason. एक तो of course बहुत obvious reason है, professionally you have excelled so much. We wanted to learn from you, from your journey. उसके साथ साथ एक और reason ये भी है कि I always find you as a human being, as a person, very interesting person. Even back at Nust, as a student, as a kid, I always thought you think very differently. You had a very unique perspective of things, and since you came to Germany, so we have always been in touch, and I have seen you grow and mature, mashallah, and it's just amazing. It's fascinating that how you quantify things, how you look at things. हम सब चीजों की detail में जाएंगे, but I just want to say that you're someone with whom one would like to sit down and discuss life, and I think that's very few people you can actually say that about.
That's very generous of you to say that, but good to hear. I was actually shocked because मैं देख रहा था आपके पिछले interviews भी, and I've seen you've had so many successful people here. So it's generous of you to think that I can be considered as a star.
Yes, you
so
definitely
looking
are
forward
one.
to that.
You definitely are one. हम आते हैं इसी पे आपकी इस mental maturity तक आप कैसे पहुंचे और ये सब कुछ कैसे हुआ, इस पे भी हम डिस्कस करेंगे. लेकिन स्टार्ट करते हैं generally, how is Germany? Do you like it here?
So far, I would say yes. Of course, good challenges होते हैं, but I'm sure when you move abroad, it's there for everyone. But I would say, looking back, it was a good decision to move to Germany.
Interesting. So फिर बाकी interview हम German में करें?
Definitely not. I think I've tried learning German, but yeah, it's a very difficult language. But I'm pretty sure you can speak better than I do. So.
Tell me about it. It is a difficult language. तो स्टार्ट करते हैं आपकी प्रोफेशनल जर्नी से. प्लीज थोड़ा सा बताइएगा क्या हुआ जब आपने नस्ट से ग्रेजुएट किया, क्या गोल्स थे, कहाँ आप हैं आज?
So I graduated from Nust SEECS, like you said, in 2012. Uske baad, I think there was a short period of 6-7 months where I tried to work on a startup for myself. That didn't work out so well. So I decided to join the rat race of working in a company, and joined Techlogics, which was based in Lahore at that time, and worked there for roughly 2 years. At that time, I also traveled across Southeast Asia a little bit because of the nature of the job. Or uske baad, I decided to go abroad to get a master's degree, primarily because I wanted to get a little bit more exposure and also explore myself a bit more. And Germany seemed like a good option because you're sitting in Europe, you can travel very easily. Then I came here and did my master's from RWTH, Aachen University. And started working here during my master's. I think from second semester onwards, I was already working and also traveling quite a lot during that time. So I think that was part of the. It was a good experience. और उसके बाद फिर decided to move to Berlin. Or ever since then, I've been working here in Contorion, which at that point was a startup. But lately it got acquired by Hoffman Group, which is one of the largest German industrial equipment company. And so that's pretty much the story so far.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting and pretty successful so far. Inshallah, we're hopeful आगे आगे इससे भी ज़्यादा आगे आप जाएंगे. Thank you for sharing your journey. मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूँ कि आप थोड़ा सा कंपेयर कर सकते हैं. आपने पाकिस्तान में पढ़ा, आपने यहाँ पे भी पढ़ा, यहाँ से मास्टर्स किया आपने. You worked there as well, you worked here as well. Overall कितने differences हैं? आपको लगता है कि पाकिस्तान में कौन सी practices हैं generally, or just the environment overall? What are the main differences you can see?
I think so. First of all, from my experience, I think Pakistan is doing quite well when it comes to tech sector specifically. I think we have very talented people there. What I think not lacking but different in terms of culture, that we're very much geared towards productivity, and the companies in Pakistan, naturally, they're very geared towards producing results very quickly. That's part of the reason why you have so many companies outsourcing work, because you can deliver work much properly. The biggest difference that I felt after working in Germany was that there is much more focus on quality. So you're never rushing things. You want to make things perfect, and there's always space and room to do that. So as a professional, it's really good for you. But in terms of talent, I would say, Pakistani developers or engineers are one of the best. So I wish we have more resources so we can have this space to invest more time on things and grow in that regard.
I think that's a very interesting point. And yes, you're right. Maybe resources का difference है. Maybe we want to deliver quickly or so. और quality पे हम उस तरह से focus नहीं कर पाते जैसे probably Germany में होता है or in other countries. But that's a very solid point, and I think we can relate it to normal life as well. We can relate it to everywhere that, like we often talk about instant gratification, that, you don't need the results all the time right there and then. It's more about the process as well.
True.
हम वर्क एनवायरनमेंट की भी बात करना चाहेंगे आपसे. जो मैंने डिफरेंसेस पूछे उसमें आई वांट टू आस्क यू, नॉर्मली आई आस्क दिस टू फीमेल्स बट आई थिंक इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट दैट मेल्स टॉक अबाउट इट एज वेल. तो आपसे मैं पूछना चाहूंगी कि आपको क्या लगता है कि फीमेल्स के लिए कितना एनवायरनमेंट कंड्यूसिव है इन यूरोप, और पाकिस्तान में जब आपने काम किया वहां पे कितने बैरियर्स हैं, कितने ब्रेक हो गए हैं, आर द ग्लास सीलिंग स्टिल देयर? व्हाट डू यू थिंक अबाउट ऑल ऑफ दिस?
So I think जैसे आपने कहा, it's I feel not so comfortable giving an opinion on this, because I believe women are the one who are impacted by this, and they should have the first opinion on this. But I can definitely share my observations on how things are in Pakistan and Europe. I think so. There are two things. First of all, you have the base opportunities, which is can women work, or can they find opportunities equal to men? In Pakistan, I would say in terms of work opportunities, that's different than Europe. A little bit less, of course. I think it's a male-dominant society in some regard. So वो चीज reflect होती है job when you're hiring. Yeah. But that also goes back then, of course, not only in the job market, it starts much earlier. I think if you go to engineering universities, you see that there are much less women. So the problem starts, I think, much earlier. And that's also in Europe. I've studied in Germany, and I can say safely that it's pretty much the same. You don't see a lot of women pursuing engineering here, even in Europe. But definitely, as far as hiring is concerned, since I'm also involved in hiring, this never comes up, your gender. So when you're hiring, it's completely irrelevant whether you're a man or a woman. It's purely skill-based. So in that regard, I think there are opportunities are definitely more in Europe for women. And then there is a second thing, which is, can you sustain those opportunities? I think the biggest problem with Pakistan in terms of gender diversity in work culture is that once you have a kid, it's very difficult for women to continue their job, right? And I have to say that Germany specifically in this regard is really good, because they share the responsibility. So if you have a kid, it's a choice of the parents, of course, but the man can also take parental leave and then take care of the kid equally, which I find really good. Because once you take this gap, it's very hard to fill. And I think that's what happens in Pakistan. Women, they have kids and then they take 2-3 years off to take care of the kid. And then it's not realistic to expect that they can make it back into the industry, because you have this gap and things move so quickly that it's very difficult to get back.
Yes, that's a very valid point, and I think things are improving overall. But yes, especially what you mentioned about the father being able to take the parental leave as well. I think it's not just Pakistan. Even in US, it's a problem. Even in many other developed countries, it's a problem. So
I'm sure
there's something from where other countries can definitely learn, especially when it comes to family benefits, and at the end, you're making the whole family more productive by providing all of that. But of course, it's not just, it's not as easy as just putting it in one sentence. It takes a whole lot of processes and systems and everything. But we have to keep our minds open this kind of change and to accept it. थोड़ा सा वापस आएंगे जहां से हमने शुरू किया था, आपकी पर्सनालिटी के बारे में, और आपकी माशाल्लाह बहुत जबरदस्त हॉबीज भी हैं. लाइक यू मेंशन ट्रैवलिंग, यू आर वेरी फॉन्ड ऑफ ट्रैवलिंग. आपकी फोटोग्राफी में यू आर अ जीनियस. And I have seen some of the content created by you as well on internet, and I think it's very meaningful. आप अपनी पर्सनालिटी को कैसे डिफाइन करते हैं? उसके बाद हम इसको थोड़ा सा सेल्फ डिस्कवरी की जर्नी पे भी आते हैं.
I think it's hard to put that in words. I guess I'm still discovering myself. I'm definitely an introvert. I think you probably know that already. So, but other than that, I would say, I've learned quite a lot on the way. और कुछ चीजें थी जो मुझे अपनी पर्सनैलिटी के बारे में शुरू में नहीं पता थी. And as you grow, as you try new things in life, it comes up. So, yeah, it's hard to explain my own personality, but I think I'm still discovering it.
How do you relate all of this to your own journey of self-discovery, or whatever you want to call it? The whole thing, how your journey of spirituality may be, whatever the word you want to put it, but how do you explain it?
I think the biggest change for me that happened was traveling, and this is something that I would recommend if anyone can do as early as possible in their life. Is very meaningful to travel as much as you can. And by travel, I don't mean to go to a fancy hotel or go to restaurants and take pictures of your food and that kind of travel, but travel with a very open mindset, to meet people, to talk to different people who are from different cultures than you are. And this makes you sort of realize that people are not so different all over the world. Of course, everyone has their own problems, and everyone has some positive aspects to them. But you come to realize that, we are all equally clueless in life. So in that regard, I think that's something that I learned, that nobody has it sorted, it all sorted. So for everyone, it's a mystery, and that's part of the fun, to explore this mystery.
That's a very unexpected answer, I would say. Considering you are an introvert and you're open to meeting new people you don't know at all, and and somehow making it a learning experience, that's something interesting. Do you have to put in some extra efforts to do that, or does it come naturally to you?
I think when you don't know people personally, it's much easier to have a meaningful conversation with them, because there are not so many preconceived notions of things. So you can be very open about any topic. And that's what I loved about being in Europe also, that it's very easy for you to travel to all across Europe and experience all these different cultures and have conversations on topics that are really meaningful, so how people see life, what do they find meaningful in their lives, and so on. And this in itself is a very big learning experience, I think. So if you can find the opportunity to travel, just go with an open mind and try new things in life, I think.
I think I would totally agree to this part as well, because like you said, implicit biases hoti hain, preconceived notions hote hain, judgments hoti hain for people we know. But for somebody we don't know at all, we probably meet with a way of more open mind than we do to somebody we know personally. आपने अभी डिस्कस किया कि ज्यादा ट्रैवल करना चाहिए. Is there something else you want to tell to youth or maybe to your own younger self?
I think the speed at which things are changing, the things that I would tell my younger self probably don't apply to the younger generation. But one thing, like one of the topics that really interests me is how these digital platforms are changing the future of the next generations. And I would say if you're a young person today, it's very easy to fall into the trap of consuming information without understanding or without putting effort into understanding a topic. So take all these digital platforms, for instance. People are becoming increasingly focused on creating a digital image of themselves. And I think this is only going to get more and more important for people in future. So what we see already is a rise in mental health issues. And to me, it's a direct result of that. That when you have all these tools that allow you to create an image of yourself that's not real, you try to create an image of yourself that's much bigger than you, right? So, and one day it falls apart. And when that happens, you fall into this depression and all sort of mental issues come out of that. So if I could tell anything to youth, I would say just try to be very authentic and be very real about things. It's very easy to have opinions these days on topics that don't really affect you, and they make you feel important. And once you fall into that trap, it's very hard to get out of it, and you lose touch with reality. So be real, and it's okay to not have answers to everything. You don't need to have answers to everything. It's okay to say that I don't understand certain things about life, and that's part of you. You don't have to present this perfect image of yourself, because once you get back to reality, it would fall apart, and that's not good.
That's a very deep answer and very interesting as well. But आपको लगता है, is it easy to do it in this day and age when everything is about smartphones, everybody is out there on one channel or the other, somehow they're always there, and if you're not connected to it, you do feel kind of aloof that what's happening, हम कहाँ आ गए, बाकी लोग कहाँ हैं. और इसको मैं थोड़ा सा अपने कल्चर से भी करूँगी, that maybe sitting in Europe right now might be a little easier for you and me to say, but हमारा देसी कल्चर जो है, I hope I don't say anything culturally insensitive here, but we do grow up with a certain need of validation. You think so? We grow up like that. We know we want to be validated for every action we take and everything we do. We are waiting for, maybe it's overprotected childhood. It has to do with, I don't know, parents की तरफ से pressure भी होता है, at the same time बहुत ज़्यादा appreciation भी होती है हर चीज़ की. Nobody really sits you down and tells you about the harsh realities of life and prepares you for that. So at the end, आप सब कुछ, I don't know, मतलब good लग रहा होता है आपको end में कि बस सब कुछ बहुत अच्छा ही होगा. And when you grow up, you want to create that, even if it's fake. You want to create that and you want to live in that. So how easy it is it?
It's definitely not easy. And like you said, I think it's a very innate human need to be validated. But in our culture, I think since beginning, we put a lot of emphasis into building egos of people, right? So we have this inflated sense of ego from our childhood that, you know, you are the best no matter what. So you cannot have any flaws. You're the best person there is. And of course, we want to continue building that. And all these platforms, they do offer this possibility for everyone to do that. So of course, naturally, if you don't put an explicit thought into it, you will just fall for this trap. And don't get me wrong, I'm a tech guy, and I really appreciate technology and how it connects people, especially Mary family. It's all distributed across the world at the moment. So I do understand that you need these platforms to connect with people, and that is the good side. But I think we were not ready for this kind of transformation. In my opinion, this happened so quickly. Even in the 90s or 2000s, it wasn't like this. And all of a sudden, you have to understand that at the end of the day, all these platforms they're doing is to trying to maximize engagement on their product. And a very good way of doing it is to show you the stuff that that you're more prone to, you know, like, or that validates your preconceived notions or belief system or whatever you have it. So it does need effort, of course. And the best way is, in my opinion, is to be very honest to yourself first, and just accept that you're not supposed to have all the answers, and you're not supposed to have a perfect life. And that's the first step to be real about how life works, I think.
So we need a very conscious effort here, and very dedicated conscious effort to look out for that. That's an amazing advice, seriously. बहुत अच्छी बात की है आपने. हम इतनी serious discussion से बाहर आते हैं थोड़े से नास्ट के time पे. How was SEECS? How was your time there? Do you miss friends? Do you want to mention some friend here?
SEECS, I think that was one of the best experiences of my life, because that bachelor's का जो time होता है उसमें you don't have a lot of responsibilities, and at the same time you're very optimistic about everything in life. So I definitely miss that time, hostel life, and I think my batch was the first one that started with H12 campus. So yeah, I've been part of that campus since the beginning of it, so I've seen it transform. It was a really nice experience, and I definitely miss it still.
One last question. बहुत मजे की discussion है, बहुत interesting है. As expected, I can ask more questions and we can get into deeper discussions, but we have to end the interview. So one last question. Think really hard before you answer this one. Who was your favorite teacher at SEECS?
I don't know. That's a tough one. I think I would say someone who taught me marketing in SEECS. You probably know her.
No, I don't. Probably have to mention the name. No, it's a serious question. You can say some other names as well. You don't have to focus on marketing teacher only.
Jokes apart, I think I really enjoyed taking marketing with you. So I would definitely have to say you were one of the favorite teachers. Also, Sir Shahid Razak, I think he was, he sparked my interest in computer graphics, and so I would say these two. And of course, I mean, the whole faculty was really, really nice. So I don't want to single out anyone, but yeah.
That's good to know कि आपका वहाँ पे टाइम अच्छा था और आप उसको मिस भी करते हैं. कुछ फ्रेंड्स को आप मेंशन करना चाहेंगे?
Friends.
आपका पूरा सेक्शन I remember काफी नॉटी सेक्शन था, but you like बच्चे थे आप लोग.
किसकी बात कर रही हैं?
आपका पूरा सेक्शन काफी लाइक बच्चे थे, लेकिन बहुत शरारती बच्चे थे.
I think then C was the best section. So
of course.
I do miss all the friends. I'm still in touch with some of them, of course, not all. I think Hamza Iftikhar, we do keep in touch pretty regularly. But everyone has moved to different countries, and it's getting increasingly difficult to stay in touch with everyone now.
Thank you so much, Salman, for your time. और बहुत मजा आया आपसे बात करके. Like I said, आपसे discussion does not have to be typical questions. We can, derail होके कहीं भी जा सकते हैं और बहुत लंबी discussion हो सकती है. But I really enjoyed it. It was very insightful. Hopefully, आपसे in the years to come, we'll try to get in touch again and learn more from you.
Thank you so much for having me. I really had a good time talking to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for watching. Allah Hafiz.